Welcome PRISM program students to this explainer. Okay, let's dive right in. Today we're doing something incredibly fascinating. We're going to bridge the gap between human reasoning and computer programming. Now, we all know how to play the physical game of tic-tac-toe, but how do you actually teach a machine to play it? Well, we're going to translate this classic pencil and paper game into spatial coordinate tables and machine logic, giving you everything you need to build your very own automated AI opponent in Python.
Here's our lesson blueprint for today. We'll be quickly progressing through the matrix reality, painting with coordinates, conversing with the machine, the math hack, and we'll finish up with a blueprint wrap-up.
Section 1. The matrix reality, translating grids to code. To program an AI, we first have to figure out how a computer actually sees a 3x3 game board. Basically, it maps spaces using numbers, 0 for empty, 1 for an X, and 2 for an O. And to store these numbers, we need a matrix. In Python, that's a 2D array, which is essentially just a list of lists. Think of it like a perfectly organized filing cabinet where every single game tile has its exact dedicated folder. To pull a specific folder from that cabinet, we use this exact syntax: board bracket, row bracket, column. But here is the golden indexing rule you have to remember. Python always starts counting at 0. So that top left corner, it isn't 1, 1, it's 0, 0. This specific coordinate format is literally how your code will target every single move. Section 2. Painting with coordinates, drawing the board. Now that our grid is stored in memory, we use an industry toolkit called Matplotlib to render it visually. As humans, we just tell our hand to draw a line from point A to point B. But to draw our grid lines with a machine, we need mathematical precision. We use plt.plot, followed by our x coordinates in one bracket and our y coordinates in the second bracket. That command right there is exactly how the machine draws the physical scaffolding of our board. Of course, a board isn't complete without the player tokens. To finish painting our digital canvas, we don't need complex shape drawing algorithms. We can simply use specific markers in our plot command. A large singular point shaped like a lowercase o works perfectly for player O, and an uppercase letter X marker cleanly displays our crosses. It's an incredibly elegant, simple solution to rendering the game pieces. Section 3. Conversing with the machine, reading and alternating inputs. Okay, this brings up a super critical question. How does the computer actually know where you want to go? Because a game can't be static, right? If you're just a human typing text into a prompt, how on earth do we convert those keystrokes into the raw numerical data our matrix relies on? We tackle this by wrapping Python's built-in input function. We write user_row equals int, open parentheses, input, open parentheses, quote, enter target row 0, 1, or 2. Because the input function normally pulls data as text, wrapping it all in int forces that text to become an integer. That is what lets the machine cleanly digest the exact matrix index you're targeting. But hold on. Before the machine just blindly drops your token into that row and column, it absolutely must ask this vital question. Is this space already stolen? In a real game, you can't place your X on top of my O. We have to explicitly program the machine to enforce this rule. To enforce that rule, we use a conditional statement to check the board's memory before acting. The logic looks exactly like this. If board bracket row bracket call equals 0, colon. Because we mapped our empty spaces as zeros earlier, this statement perfectly tracks if a tile is officially empty and safe to claim. Section 4. The math hack, summation math with NumPy. Checking every single winning combination manually with standard if statements is beyond tedious. So instead, we're going to unlock a bit of a secret language using the NumPy library to calculate vector sums. Since player X's tokens are represented by the number 1, getting 3 in a row horizontally, vertically, or diagonally means the mathematical sum of that line hits exactly 3. On the flip side, since player O is represented in our matrix by the number 2, if O gets 3 tokens in a straight line, it instantly totals 6. The beauty of this logic is just its sheer simplicity. Instead of writing dozens of lines of code to check token placements, we just ask NumPy to parse and tally complete lines instantly. If a sum equals 3, the logic detects player X wins. If a sum equals 6, the logic detects player O wins. We have literally transformed visual game rules into highly efficient algorithmic win states. It's a massive time saver. Section 5. Blueprint Wrap-Up. Design and code your AI. At this point, you aren't just making a basic game anymore. You are actively learning how to logically map spatial configurations. But before you write a single new line of code, you must answer these design rules on paper. This is logic mapping. Will your AI pick randomly or actively check combinations to block your moves? Once it picks, how does it verify a space is actually free? How does it check if its move just triggered a sum of 6 to win? You really need to sketch this flow out first. To structure your project, here is your final mission checklist. Step 1. Initialize your 3x3 blank matrix storage space using 0 variables. Step 2. Create your visual renderer by plotting the grid states with matplotlib. Step 3. Build your human turn input handler. And finally, Step 4. Design and program the automated computer actions. So, PRISM students, I leave you with this final thought as you head into your Google Colab notebooks. You now have the exact toolkit to translate physical spaces into machine data. As you take these principles back to build your project, ask yourself, how will you manipulate these vector sum totals of 3 and 6 to create an automated opponent that truly thinks, anticipates, and ultimately outsmarts your own human logic? Good luck coding.